4. Just think about that number for a second. In a single chaotic year, the Roman Empire had not one, not two, but 4 different emperors. And get this, 3 of them were murdered. The 4th, he managed to start a whole new dynasty. This is the wild story of that year, 69 CE. It was a time of absolute crisis that pushed Rome right to the edge. Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of the most insane, chaotic, and truly game-changing years in all of ancient history. All right, so where does all this madness start? Well, it all kicks off back in 68 CE with the suicide of none other than Emperor Nero. You know him. His death didn't just leave a job opening for Emperor of Rome. No, it ripped open a giant power vacuum. And in doing so, it revealed a fatal flaw, a crack right in the foundation of the entire empire. Because after Nero was gone, a really dangerous secret got out. Turns out, emperors weren't really being made in Rome anymore. They were being made by the legions, way out on the frontiers. Suddenly, it was crystal clear, especially to the soldiers themselves, that the real power wasn't with the fancy senators in their togas. Oh no, it was with them, the armies. They were the new kingmakers. And what happens when armies realize they can make emperors? Well, you get a brutal year-long civil war. What followed was just this insane, rapid-fire succession of rulers. Each one was backed by a different army from a different part of the empire, and they were all ready to fight to the death for that top spot. I mean, just look at this timeline. The pace is absolutely dizzying. Galba, the governor of Spain, he steps up in June of 68. By January of 69, he's murdered. Okay, so then Otho is proclaimed emperor. He lasts all the way until April. He commits suicide after a defeat. Next up is Vitellius. And by December? Yep, you guessed it, he's killed too. We're talking about emperors lasting mere months. It's just unbelievable. You know, the Roman historian Tacitus, he actually lived through this mess, and he put it perfectly. He called it a period rich in disasters, terrible with battles, torn by civil struggles, horrible even in peace. Think about that last part. Horrible, even in peace. Even when the fighting stopped for a minute, everyone was just filled with dread, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about politics or armies clashing. No, this crisis went way deeper. It was a moral crisis, a psychological one, that plunged all of Roman society into this state of complete and utter confusion. There's actually a term for this, axiological confusion. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's what happens when extreme fear and uncertainty just shatter your moral compass. You can't tell good from bad anymore. And all those core Roman values, loyalty, duty, honor, they just started to crumble. They meant nothing in a world of constant terror. So imagine you're a soldier or a general back then. You're faced with this impossible choice. Do you follow the path of honestum, the honorable path, stay loyal to your emperor, stick to your oath, do the right thing? Or do you choose utile, the practical, expedient path, the path of survival, where you betray your leader and join the side that looks like it's going to win? In this completely twisted, upside-down world, being a good person could literally get you killed. Sticking to your virtues was a death sentence. Tacitus wrote that high birth, wealth, all gave ground for accusations, and virtues caused the surest ruin. Even words lost their meaning. A ruler would be incredibly cruel and just call it being strict. They'd be greedy and call it being frugal. Language itself was a casualty of the chaos. So, okay, maybe you choose that practical path, the path of betrayal. But here's the catch. It was a massive gamble. And for the tens of thousands of soldiers who bet on the wrong horse, who backed the losing emperor, well, the consequences were beyond devastating. Just look at the legions that backed Vitellius. We're talking 4 entire legions. That's something like 20,000 men, just wiped from the map. Some were destroyed in battle. Others were straight up massacred. The lucky ones were just formally disbanded in disgrace by the guy who finally won, Vespasian. They chose the wrong side, and it cost them everything. So that brings us to the winner, Vespasian. He finally ends the bloodshed, but his work is far from over. Now he has this monumental task in front of him. How do you stop a year like 69 CE from ever happening again? How do you fix a system that is so clearly, fundamentally broken? And his solution wasn't just to be a better emperor. No, he knew he had to change the actual rules of the game. So he had a new law passed, the Lex d'Imperio Vespasiani, and he had it etched onto a bronze tablet for everyone to see. This was a direct attempt to take the emperor's power out of the hands of the armies and put it into the hands of the law. This law basically laid out all of the emperor's powers in black and, well, in bronze. It said he could make treaties, control the Senate, endorse candidates, and it had this really crucial catch-all clause that let him do pretty much anything he deemed in the interests of the state. This was huge. It was a shift from power by force to power by law. The idea was to make the emperor's authority official, something written down, not just something you had to take with a sword. Essentially, this was Rome's big attempt to put the genie back in the bottle. The secret was out. The legions knew their own strength. This law was an effort to wrestle that power back, to replace the unpredictable might of soldiers with the predictable authority of the state. The whole point was to ensure that the next guy who became emperor was chosen by law, not by a legion on the German frontier. And here's a really cool historical footnote. Over 1,000 years later, in the 1300s, that same bronze tablet was rediscovered, but now it was seen in a totally different light. A leader named Cola di Rienzo held it up and said, "Look, this proves there was a time when the people of Rome gave power to the emperor." He saw it as a symbol of a popular power that had been lost. But ultimately, the chaos of 69 CE and Vespasian's bold attempt to fix it leaves us with this huge, timeless question, one that still echoes today. Can a system that's built on military mights ever truly be governed by the rule of law? The year Rome broke forces us to look at that fragile, tense balance between the sword and the state. And that tension between raw power and legal authority, well, that's something that is absolutely still relevant today. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.